Hey everybody, I'm here with Cheyanne Collins, the Dell Campus adult transition teacher here in San Ramon Valley Unified School District. And I am so excited to connect with her today to learn about how she is driving student engagement with Pear Deck and really to just give her an opportunity to share about the art of teaching in the classroom and how she's leveraging technology to support the teaching and learning with students. So thank you for being here, Cheyanne.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here and just talk about what I'm doing in my classroom and how I'm incorporating technology. Pear Deck's my favorite, so I'm super pumped to share about it and just to provide different ways to differentiate and engage students, especially my population of students with disabilities. And it can apply to so many different levels of learning. So I'm ready and excited.
Well, again, we're really happy to learn from you. So tell us a little bit about your classroom and your school and what students and population you're serving.
So I am at Dell Campus with the adult transition. So we're really here focusing on life skills and getting our students to be as independent as possible for them to transition, from going to school every day. Maybe they're transitioning to an adult day program. Maybe they're transitioning to going to Las Positas and going to take some college classes. Maybe they're going straight into the workforce. We have a wide array of students, and when they leave us at age 22, they could go to any number of places that I mentioned, right? So we want to prepare them in a variety of ways, focusing on our 5 domains of, we're going to focus on daily living, rec leisure, independent living skills, vocational skills, and like community travel training. So I love our program because it's so unique in that we're not just in the classroom. We are focused on getting out in the community and really making learning meaningful and applying what they've been learning, the past 18 years, 12 years of school, right? 18 years of life, and really applying it to help them to just be as independent as possible.
That is amazing. And you said it. You said that you're making learning meaningful outside of the classroom and inside of the classroom. And that translates into your integration of technology with students, which is not all the time, I'm assuming. It's just the intentional parts. So let's get into this a little bit. There is a tool called Pear Deck that Cheyanne is a big fan of, and I'm sure some of our people watching are as well. I'm a big fan of Pear Deck. And Pear Deck is known as like an escalated or elevated slide presentation, but you get to interact with your students. So Cheyanne is going to tell us a little bit about what this looks like in her classroom. So let's hear it. Tell us how you get started with it.
Awesome. So yeah, I want to increase student engagement. We live in the 21st century and technology skills are incorporated in that. So I want to make sure that my students are also able to engage appropriately with technology. And one of the ways I do focus in on is using Pear Deck. So what is Pear Deck? It's an online learning platform. It actually has 4 different products like within the whole system, and that's supporting lesson planning, interactive lessons. They have an assessment feature, differentiation for instruction, and more. They have AI is included in there to help you create lessons. I primarily use it to make the lessons interactive, and that can be done in a live or a student-paced fashion, which we'll be able to talk a little bit more about when I show you what it is. But it's great because, right, I can have it live in the moment where students are answering back, responding, or I can assign it to them and they get to do it. And I use it as a live tracking and student monitoring, and even an assessment tool as well. What's great about the Pear Deck is that it has a teacher dashboard. Again, I'll show you in a minute, but I get to see exactly where students are, what they're typing actively, how far along they are, where their answers are. I can look at individual things, whole group answers, and it's just really a great tool as a teacher that I also get to be mobile because I can pull it up. I don't have to sit at my laptop checking it. I pull it up on my iPad and I'm circling the room. I'm walking around. Yes, I can see over their shoulder, but I can also just see on the iPad. So I can look from across the room and I can say, hey, so-and-so, we got to add a period. We got to add punctuation to what you're writing, or hey, we need to try that again. So I'm able to give that immediate verbal feedback just from the tool of what I can see and what their responses are from anywhere in the room.
So amazing. So your students are one-to-one with iPads, correct?
They have Chromebooks,
They have Chromebooks.
and then I have an iPad. Yeah.
Okay, and you're able to carry the iPad around and see what's happening on each student's Chromebook because of Pear Deck.
Exactly.
You can see how they're responding to the answers, and just teach in that way and give them feedback right away.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we're able to really engage students, across the classroom to meet any of their needs, because they can type shorter parts, they can type longer parts. It's really whatever they can do. And it's able to be differentiated in that as well, based on staff, like giving them direction, or myself giving direction as well.
Excellent. Yeah. So what does it look like when you're launching a lesson?
So when I'm launching a lesson, so the primary way I use it is for our morning meetings. So we're going to be interactive, and I have it posted to their Google Classroom. I give them a link, and you know what? Sometimes I forget, and my students call me on it. So then I pull it straight up, and they're smart enough, because we've done it a number of times. I've trained them both ways, that they see this in the corner, this little icon right here, and I can pull it up and they can go straight to the website to log in, which is awesome. So they have multiple ways that they can access it. But the primary way is I post the link onto Google Classroom, and they log straight in. And then their sign just says good morning. So I know they're ready to go. And then eventually, once we get the rest of our students in, we'll start going through our morning meeting slides, checking calendar, checking our emotions for the day. So that's how I use it first thing right in the morning. That's just in one way. I also use it sprinkled out throughout the day, but I want to jump a little ahead. I just want to show you what some of those morning meeting slides do look like. So like this will be one thing that they'll start typing in how they're feeling. And then what's great is this right here. This shows me their answers. So I've gone in, I've typed some answer, had my staff type in an answer, but I can see they did type and then they deleted it, right? So I get to see directly who's answered, how they're feeling, and then I get to call on them, have them share. So it's really incredible. I also get to see, if I jump ahead, this is my teacher dashboard. I can, like I said, see who's submitted 2 of 2 responses, right? If I jump to a different page, who hasn't answered? So this one, I see only one person's answered on this. I can jump down. Okay, Kylie answered, but not responded. Cheyanne has not responded. So it's just a great tool to keep me mobile and being able to check for understanding, check for engagement live in the moment. So come on. Oh, come back over here. So that's just one of the ways I use it. I do have more opportunities, and that's for assessment, for the interaction. And I want to say there's certain times where I forget, like it needs this add-on tool, but if I forget, I can add a new prompt anytime. I can lock screens of my students anytime if they are, being distracted and I really want them to focus in. I lock their screens say it's been locked, and they have to pay attention up front.
Amazing. So as you're serving like a classroom of students, you can really see where they're at, kind of know what they're thinking for any question prompt that you put in. And then if there's no response, then that is a response as well, who to go check in on. And I love how you're sharing that it keeps you mobile. So I love how you use it for community check-ins. What are some other ways? Like, how would you use it for assessment?
So let me jump. What's great is I can jump to some other pages. So I use it for, assessment. We are asking different questions of, elapsed time. These are the skills that we are working on in school, in class. So I can see I can even show responses live up on the board and it doesn't show their names. So maybe we're doing a group activity and we want to say, oh, we have a couple wrong answers, but we're able to show it the whole group and nobody's feeling like, ooh, that's mine. I'm feeling embarrassed. We don't have to have that when it's up on the board, but on the teacher dashboard, I get to see exactly who it is. So I can assess, but it also supports students with that.
That is really like innovating the learning pathway. And I just think back to the many years of school where it's just different, ask a question, one student raises a hand, that student gets called on, that student gets it correct or incorrect. If you get it incorrect, you're not feeling confident to raise your hand again. But
Right.
in this model, a question is prompted and every student gets a chance to respond and see each other's response. And then even if you see the incorrect response, they say that the best learning happens in reflection. So now that's the reflection piece of if their name's not up there, they still that's going to be a sticky learning for them that they didn't know that, before then.
Right. Yeah. And it's great. Like when I use it for whole group lessons. This is a cooking activity that we do where we're, following along with the cooking steps. They have to touch and follow along. Oh, let me go to the live one. So there's draggables where they're just, some students, this is how they engage by their touching their instructions to stay engaged with it. And yes, as you had mentioned earlier, I use it a lot when we're doing group functional academics, so I can see those answers right off the bat. They're working on a whiteboard, right? And a calculator so they can handwrite math, but I have them write their answers up on the Pear Deck on their computers. So that way we can see the answer easily. And it also helps to limit cheating by people looking at everyone's whiteboard around them.
Right. So yeah, they're not just typing in a response, they're also able to draw a response.
Absolutely, yeah. So this one gives me options to draw, which the drawing is actually, it could be text, it could be a pencil, it could be a highlighter and a line. So this drawing tool is my favorite by far because I can draw something really quick. Let me show this response. So I just drew a heart on there, just for that. But there's a line tool where I match. I use it a lot when we match coins and values. It makes it really great for that. Jump up to that one as well. And there's, depending on which page, what you're expecting on the page is going to determine the tool that you want to add on to it. Right. So this is the drawing tool, but I'm actually drawing lines, but I could draw whatever I want on it.
Right. Amazing.
Yeah. And then I can also add text. Something so great. Like I said, if say I accidentally didn't have this bottom one on, I can add a new prompt in the moment where they give suggestions. Maybe it's a beginning of class. We're doing an icebreaker during, maybe we're doing a end of class activity, but maybe I just forgot to add the actual tool that I wanted. Maybe it got deleted, which does happen because if you delete the bar in your Google Slides, the interactivity goes away. So maybe I forgot this is the tool I'll add and it shows me what it's going to look like for them.
So that little prompting area is just a place for anyone designing these lessons to have like tons of different templates. So they don't have to build from scratch like you do in other platforms either.
Exactly. And these are live in the moment. Maybe you want to give a multiple choice question. You can do it right then and there and have them select their response. Like you posted up a question, have them select A, B, C, D. And that's no planning even required right there. Another option like I have beforehand, right, is the add-on tool. So this one has no interactivity. It's intentional for how we use this is I want them to focus in and participate in the discussion. And then I have a duplicate slide that lets them actually type what we talked about it was. But if I wanted to add a typing to this, you go to the main page and then you go to extensions. So the Pear Deck add-on gets opened. And with the full program, you have access to the different types of questions, which there's so many, right? You could have them type in a number, text, having a draggable to follow along. You can link it to a website. My favorite are draggables, draw, and multiple choice and text. Those are the 4 I use the most. Multiple choice is a little bit trickier because you have to retype the choices every time. You can't just copy paste the bar unless it's the same question. So I have that one on days of the week because there's only 7 days of the week. So it's fine. But if you're changing questions, you do have to update it each time.
Wow, so they're just built into the extension as well. And if you hadn't is this for like the add-ons, or do you use this in the pre-planning?
This is pre-planning. So Google Slides, whatever slide deck you want to make interactive, you make your slide deck just like normal, and then you pull up the add-on. So this one, I want to add a text. So it'll pop up. You say, yeah, I'll say don't show this. Continue, add to slide. That's it.
And now it's a Pear Deck interactive slide.
Exactly. Now I can type on when it's on this page, it'll give them a typing prompt. That's it. It's easy as that.
Wow.
So it's super active. But again, it says right here, do not remove this bar. A number of times it has gotten removed. Now it's not interactive.
Okay.
So this is a great way to plan. And then you can start the lesson straight from it as well.
And when the kids have the link or they get the code after you start the lesson.
Exactly. So they log in on the link that I post or straight on the code. Yes.
Now, Cheyanne, I know that you were sharing with me that you have the premium Pear Deck account right now, but that last year you had to make do with the free account.
Yes.
What are some of the differences that might help a teacher starting out with this to decide if they should purchase it or not?
Great question. Yeah, so the free one, you actually get a very limited number of add-ons from creating within the slide program. And I was lucky. I've used and had the premium account before, or I had it in the trial. So I was able to add these bottom bars that I wanted. But if you don't have the premium package, then you do not get to add on these add-ons unless you already have a bar. So you kind of got to plan around and do it in when you have the trial to see if it's really worth it for you. Because in addition, you don't get access to teacher dashboard. So without the premium, you don't get access to the teacher dashboard to see which students have which answer. It would just be showing it like this, the live presentation. I don't technically know who it is. I can see their answers are wrong, but that's as far as I can go. I'd have to go to their actual computer, walk around the room to find out who answered this. I don't get to give feedback after. There's a great feature that you can post feedback after the session has ended. And I've seen that used in a lot of general education classes for their assessments. Several of my students, when I taught in middle school, when they pushed into science, in gen ed science, they used it as their assessment. So they got to send that feedback, which was great. But without the premium, it's not accessible, unfortunately.
Okay, so with the free account, you can create lessons and students can experience it. But with the premium, you're really able to see their responses and use that for formative assessment and give immediate feedback.
Exactly.
Excellent. Okay, did you have any other examples that you were hoping to share with us?
Yeah, these are just some ways, like I said, that I use it in class. This is still part of that morning meeting. We just work on different skills using the drawing tool. I have them type in information. I did want to show this one other thing. Depending on how you set up the slides, your teacher dashboard can present information in a variety of ways. So this one is a grid where I can see them individually, a lot easier. But for anything that's too small, it might be a little bit more challenging. Like for personal information, I like to scroll to see it large. But because overlapping it can get confusing, except for here, it's super simple to see an overlapped response, and it's really easy and user-friendly. So what's great also about Pear Deck is it'll remember which way you like to view it per slide. So if it'll use it intuitively at first, but if you have a preference, it'll change it and match it each time.
Is that some of the AI features that are built into it?
That's really before AI was even a thing. It's always been like that. So I'm not entirely sure, but it does remember how I like to view them, which is incredible in just being able to scan through responses a lot faster. Like it lines them all up really quick so I can easily scroll.
That's awesome. Is there a bank of lesson ideas and templates within Pear Deck as well that teachers can access?
Yes, they do have training materials and things on the Pear Deck website. I'm going to be honest, I haven't looked through them in a while because I've been using this for 7 years now. But I do know they have like starting lessons, right? They have ideas, they have examples, and they have training videos to how you can learn and engage with it yourself.
That sounds amazing. Okay, so if I am someone, oops, sorry about that, wrong button. If I am someone who is brand new to teaching with Pear Deck, and I just log in, what would you recommend as a starting point for them?
I would say start with a Google slide that you're already doing, a presentation you're already doing. Start with one question. Okay. One either entry question or an exit question for students to participate. Keep it super simple. Like we all do exit tickets or icebreakers. Just make that one question digitally interactive to start. I promise you'll be hooked.
Right? Yeah, because we know that slide presentations are used all the time. So the way to keep the kids engaged in all the dialogue within the presentation. Well, you've inspired me. I might even try it at one of my department meetings in the upcoming week. I know I've used it during COVID, like a lot of us did, but I haven't used it in quite some time. And it's such a multifaceted tool to really provide many modalities for students to respond and to really give an insight into what they're thinking for the teacher. That transparency is so helpful.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I every person who comes to observe in my classroom, I'm like, come during this time. We're using Pear Deck. They're like, and every time they're like, this is amazing. And I love to just walk them through. I'm like, let me show you. Come over to the Pear Deck.
I love it. I love it. Well, Cheyanne, you have the best energy, and I can tell your students must be thriving in your classroom. So I honestly want to thank you for your leadership. Cheyanne is one of our instructional technology leaders here in San Ramon Valley Unified School District. She helps us to really analyze how we're using technology, and this is a great example of the impact that it's having on teaching and learning and students, and I can tell your passion for it. So thank you for being a model of that. Are there any other lasting advice or words that you have on this topic for any teachers out there trying to try new ideas?
Yes. The biggest thing, give yourself grace and know that your students are going to fumble through it at first. That's okay. You're going to need time. That's okay. My students, right, it's taken weeks, it's taken months to get them, but they have learned and they know our system. They are ready to go, but it does take practice and it does take time and exposure. The biggest thing I can say is just start small. Start with one thing, whether it's Pear Deck, whether it's something else in technology. It's so useful when we can incorporate it into various parts of the day, and it's really supportive for all of our students in, like you said, differentiation, formative assessment, and really just getting feedback both from them and to them in a more efficient way that really is conducive to student learning.
You said it so beautifully. Thank you so much for that advice for new teachers, and definitely continue the conversation and support each other. If you have questions, reach out to any of us here. If you're in San Ramon or beyond, we just really like to help people understand how to do these things, or we'll find the answer, because that's really what these talks are about, is just sharing best practices and good ideas. So Cheyanne, I want to thank you for being here so much.
Thank
And
you so much.
for those of you watching, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.